thanks everybody for coming out today for our app migration and replication for ISVs webinar with Redapt. Redapt is a Microsoft Gold partner, and we help enterprises accelerate their business growth through the navigation and adoption of the powerful cloud computing capabilities of Microsoft Azure. We're really excited to be here with you today and talk with you about, our expertise in the app innovation space. And joining today is our practice director of our app mod practice, Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis is an experienced leader in enterprise architecture and software development. He has over 2 decades of experience in software development, systems integration, mobile strategy, and delivery methodologies. Here at Redapt, he leads application modernization team to deliver high-value modernization and development initiatives designed to enable innovation, reduce costs, and manage technology risks. Jeff, we're really happy to have you here today, and we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate the introduction. I'm excited to share with you some thoughts today about application migration and modernization and innovation, especially in the space of multi-cloud and hybrid environments. The topic does apply to a variety of environments. Whether you're on-prem looking to move to a cloud environment, or you're in one cloud environment looking to leverage the advantages of multiple clouds, or just migrating from one to another. The topics today will touch on all of those areas, or be relevant to all of those areas. As we walk through today, we'll be touching on 3 different aspects. First, we're going to start off with some of the benefits and the challenges that you'll encounter with multi-cloud versus a single cloud environment or an on-prem environment. We're going to also touch on some thoughts around how to modernize. And this is, after you've already migrated to an environment, how do you make, explore the greater value of actually engineering with, cloud native technologies. And then we're going to touch on some of the management aspects and some tooling around the management that helps mitigate some of the challenges that we're going to introduce for the multi-cloud environments. So over the past few years, there has been an increasing movement to the cloud. Organizations are trying to take advantage of, some of the simplified management, the centralized security, business agility. All of these things, have become obvious that the cloud provides that. But what about the multi-cloud, right? So you still get some of those advantages, all of those advantages, but the multi-cloud environment does introduce different advantages and also some challenges. Some of the benefits that you'll see with the multi-cloud that maybe you won't see with a single cloud environment is, you have reduced risk of service interruption. It's very rare, but it does happen that one of the major cloud providers, experiences an outage. If you have your assets across, multiple clouds, you can, to some degree, mitigate that risk. You avoid the vendor lock-in. This allows you to take advantage of, cost and features that maybe one cloud provider does slightly differently or better than another. It also allows you to take advantage of a best-in-breed strategy, where maybe one cloud provider does this one particular thing better than another, and you want to take advantage of all of the best technologies and to integrate them together. That the multi-cloud provides that ability. And at times there are some competitive concerns for your own clients and your own customers where they don't necessarily, from a strategic perspective, want to support one cloud versus another. With that said, there are some challenges that arise from a multi-cloud implementation. Obviously duplicated efforts. If you are, for instance, mitigating the outage risk, that means that you're going to be implementing similar or the same solution in multiple clouds. That's going to create duplicated efforts, right? A lack of central visibility is another risk that you have. Being able to see, in kind of a standardized format, information in both environments, so that you can effectively manage it. This is going to increase complexity to some degree, and it'll increase, cost management. So, while over the past few years, organizations have, increasingly moved their assets into cloud environment, they haven't always been able to, or haven't yet been able to, take full advantage of some of the engineering that's out there in the modernization space. Some of those examples are, like, for instance, PaaS web apps. So organizations may have moved applications, from a physical server to a VM in the cloud, may have even containerized it, but they haven't gone all the way towards a PaaS implementation. You've got PaaS databases, the same type of situation. Messaging and queuing, caching, serverless technologies, storage. All of these things are technologies that have already been implemented in the cloud and will allow you to experience greater value from it. But it's typically after your migration efforts that these kick in. I'll share with you an example, where Redapt has done this for one of our clients, Tandem Diabetes. Redapt built a custom portal for Tandem Diabetes to provide a variety of access points for their clients, for sharing information, training, customer service, in any of these types of customer touch points can be managed through this portal now. Redapt utilized three primary areas that I'll highlight. One is Azure PaaS. This allows us to host the application in such a way that there's minimal maintenance involved. And it also provides things like, auto scaling and simplified deployments and deployment slots, things like that really make the overall management of the platform very simple. SQL Server, the Azure SQL is another technology that we use. Same type of concept, a light touch from a management perspective, but it's your data persistence layer. And then there's the traffic manager that we use to distribute traffic across regions and provide high availability and increased responsiveness. This isn't the only load balancing technology available in Azure. There's application gateways, there's front door, and then there's a network level load balancer that's also available, already built for you in Azure. To go a little bit deeper into some of these application or the building blocks, I should say. the container services and the container apps, they provide the portability that will really ease your deployments when you're either moving from one cloud to another, moving from on-prem to another, or just implementing a hybrid approach. It allows you to encapsulate your application and easily deploy it and move it from one place to another. Another technology that's particularly helpful in these environments is the Azure Service Bus. The Azure Service Bus, it basically allows you to decouple components of your application from each other. You can utilize a queue mechanism to communicate between these components, or topics with a sub-hub model, hub-sub model. It also supports transactions and sessions. So the value here in the hybrid or multi-cloud environment is really providing that communication mechanism that allows you to decouple everything. Another component would be event hubs. And the event hubs come into play when you need to aggregate and analyze data from a variety of sources. And these could be your IoT devices, or it could be just multiple applications that are hosted in different environments. But the event hub provides it's a data ingester, so it will allow you to pull in and aggregate data at very, very high volumes across multiple sources. You also have serverless technologies, such as Azure Functions and Logic Apps. The Azure Functions provide you a way of providing basically API endpoints that you have just code the business logic. You don't have to code and deploy entire APIs around it. You're just focused on smaller incremental pieces. The Azure Logic Apps, those can be very important in the multi-cloud and hybrid environment, because they provide a simplified way of integrating your application. So if you need to move data from one point to another, or make API calls between applications, you can implement that using the Logic Apps. And especially when you're working with third-party tools, there's a lot of connectors that are already built out there for you, so you don't even have to build new connectivity to these third-party applications, as long as there's a connector that's already built for it. And there's a large number of them, so there's a good chance that if it's a popular application, then you'll have a connector available for you. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a feel for some of the tools that are available to take your multi-cloud and hybrid environment to next level, after you've already migrated. But there still remains a challenge in the management of these environments. Tools do exist to help simplify that. And I want to introduce you to one today. It's called Azure Arc. And it's really a game changer when it comes to managing both hybrid and multi-cloud environments. So if you can imagine, if you've got deployments or security that you need to manage across, patching, for instance, that you're managing across multiple environments, without some type of tool, you could find yourself, logging into multiple places, reproducing the same exact work in different places, or potentially, and even more challenging is, if you're reliant upon, just manual labor to get that done at multiple times, are you going to miss steps are you going to do it the exact same way each time? That's where a tool like Azure Arc comes in. It allows you to manage these concerns across multiple environments in the same way that you would manage Azure assets, with, whether it be a deployment or, patching or security. For instance, if you're managing, if your strategy is to use best of breed in two cloud environments, you're going to have a footprint across both. Or if you have, for instance, maybe your data persistence layer still on-prem and you're in the midst of migrating, how do you see everything in one unified fashion? That's where Azure Arc comes in. You can deploy the agents that are used for Azure Arc, across a variety of devices, new VMs, old servers, on-prem, cloud, outside of Azure. And you can manage those as if they are part of the Azure ecosystem. And that's exceptionally powerful when you've got, tentacles, spreading throughout multiple areas. So, I know this is a very high level, overview of some of these topics. We've talked a little bit about, how do you build in modernization? How do you leverage some of the existing tools in Azure to, get more value out of your cloud engineering? We've talked about, using Azure Arc to manage some of the complexities, reducing the duplicated efforts, being able to, see one view of your system instead of two or three. And while it's very high level, I want to point you to, both Microsoft assets out on the web. There are many, many, many points of documentation and resources that you can use and leverage to learn more about these things. You can also reach out to Redapt in the app modernization team or the MVC team to learn more, better understand how these tools can be applied to your specific scenario, and take that next step towards your multi-cloud hybrid implementation. With that, I'll turn it back over to Sarah.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It was really nice having you here today and explaining some of these high-level concepts about app innovation and what we can do here at Redapt to help our clients, migrate and take advantage of multi-cloud solutions. If you are interested in learning more about what application innovation looks like for ISVs, please feel free to reach out to us through our website at www.redapt.com. Thank you so much for being here today, and we look forward to speaking with you. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.